Welcome to Broadcast Media Africa. Discover how local content is shaping Africa's media landscape and how broadcasters can expand their reach on Spotify. Learn about audience trends, digital strategies, and content discoverability. Delivered by Spotify at the Radio and Digital Sound Broadcasting Summit, Africa 2024, held in Johannesburg, South Africa.
When it comes to where the content is coming from, at the moment, the continent consumes more content that comes from outside. These are mostly English-speaking markets, the US, the UK, and Australia, especially those first two. So we tend to consume much more content from outside. Kenya is slightly different. We found amongst the markets that perform really well on platform, Kenyans tend to consume more locally produced content. And I think that has a lot to do with how easy it is for creators in that market because of data. Kenya's always been seen from a digital perspective to be quite a pioneer, and that's reflected in what people are consuming. But obviously, as Spotify and all of us here, we would love to see more locally produced content, because that's really where it's at. I think I've already spoken to this point around the nuances from market to market and from region to region. We were having a conversation just now about urban areas versus rural areas, and we see these differences, slight differences as well. In terms of language, there are definitely podcasts in various local African languages, but English still dominates, and that also has to do with where the content that we're consuming comes from. Formats, majority of our podcasts on platform are audio, but as I've said, video is growing, and especially amongst Gen Z audience. Finally, I want to talk about how we actually work with broadcasters in order to help them find audiences on platform. So we partner with broadcasters in order to promote their content on Spotify. And how we do that is through various tools that we've got. I know some of these images are really small, but we have home banners and card models, etc., etc. So we're able to leverage a number of channels in order to make sure that your content gets the eyes and ears that it deserves. And this is across the board, whether it is a free or premium user. What we'll usually do is, in our initial conversation, once we establish what content you want to push, because sometimes a radio station has, 15 shows, but you don't necessarily have a digital strategy around each and every single one of those shows, and you much rather focus on the drive in the morning and in the afternoon. And so together with you, we'll develop an on-platform marketing strategy to say, okay, over the course of 6 months that we will be working together, these are the things that we will, these are the tools that we will deploy on our side to make sure that your content gets the discoverability that it deserves. And we do this in exchange for the radio station basically directing their audiences in whatever way makes sense monetarily, because there is no exchange of dollars when this conversation is happening, to direct the listeners so that they know that the content is now available on Spotify.